Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. In this video I am going to be talking to you about my top tips for potty training in just a week, how we potty trained our boy, our 3-year-old son, using a gentle method but one that had excellent results for us. I am going to share with you some of my best buys and also my top tips for potty training. Let's start out with talking about the things that you need to buy in order to start potty training with your child. Now, as I mentioned, I am talking about my son that we potty trained, my now 3-year-old, although he was 2 at the time of potty training. But these items, of course, can be used for girls as well if you have a little girl that you are going to be potty training. So the first thing, and it might surprise you, the thing that I find the most important, and it's not a potty, is actually a book. So this is the book that we bought. It is the Oh Crap Potty Training book by Jamie Glowacki. I think that's how you say her name. This is an excellent book. She is not an educationalist or child development expert as I am, but she is a potty training expert. And I really like her method. She's got a really gentle method of potty training. I like a lot of the tips that she uses in here. We adapted it somewhat to suit our style. So the next thing that we got, of course, is a potty. This is ours. It is, as I call it, prison grey. I did not choose the colour. I allowed Finley to choose the colour of his potty. I would advise not choosing a potty with all the bells and whistles on. You can get some of those ones that look like little toilets with handles and things because they can be a little bit confusing for children. They are like toys, and of course we want them to associate the potty with being a toilet, not a toy. So this is the one that we have. It is the Potty Potty. That is a brand name, and the thing that I like about this is that it's got this bit at the back here and a handle, so it's just basically really easy to pour everything away into the toilet, and that's something that is important because you don't want everything going everywhere. So that is the potty that we have, and as I said, I allowed Finley to choose the colour. I chose the brand of potty and then let him pick the colour because that allowed him to have independence and feel like he was in control of the situation, although really I was in control because I was the one that chose the brand. I will put links to everything that I'm talking about down below. I have a whole section on my Amazon storefront about potty training, so I will link to that for you and you can go over and have a look. The other thing that we bought was a potty seat, a toilet seat that fits onto your normal seat. Now I don't have it with me, but I will pop a picture up on the screen for you to see. This one we didn't use as much at first, but we did go on to using that a lot. Finley really liked sitting up on the proper toilet, and now he actually doesn't use it at all and he just sits and holds himself on the proper toilet seat. Of course, to be able to climb up onto the toilet, you also need some kind of step stool. I would actually advise getting 2 step stools so that you can have one next to the toilet and one next to the sink. That way you don't have to keep moving the step stool over all the time for when you want to wash your hands. Of course, you may just need one if you've got a very small space. I would also advise getting 2 potties, one for upstairs in your house if you have 2 levels and one for downstairs, or more if you have more levels in your house. Especially at first, this is really important because you don't want to have to take your child upstairs, because when they tell you that they need the toilet or when you see the cues that they need the toilet, you really do need to take them immediately. Of course, the next thing that you need to buy for your child is some underwear. Now, this is commonly believed to be one of the first things that you buy for potty training, but actually for us and the method that we chose and the method that Jamie recommends in her book is that you go commando for the first few days. If not, I think it was probably, I'm just looking at my notes here, I think it was about the first 2 weeks that we didn't use any underwear at all. In the first little while you do go absolutely commando, and then you use pants like trousers without underpants. That's just because underpants can feel a little bit like a nappy to a child, and it will encourage them to kind of have more accidents and not think so much about needing the toilet. Also, it's just more layers to pull down when they go to the toilet. So buy the underwear. I would recommend just bulk buying a cheap lot on Amazon, because you probably will go through it quite quickly and maybe have to throw away some of it. But don't worry if you don't have underwear straight away. You don't need it to start potty training, especially if you are following this method. The last thing, and something that I would advise that you buy, but is also a tip and leads us into the next lot of tips, which I will give in a second, is to buy a mat to go underneath your potty if you have a carpeted floor. We don't have a carpeted floor downstairs in our living room. We have laminate, which is really great for potty training because it's easy to wipe. But in Finley's bedroom, we have carpet, and we leave his potty in there now at night time for him. He's really good at getting up out of bed and going to use the toilet if he needs to, but they do have spills, especially if you have a little boy. You need to teach them to push their willy down into the potty. But before they learn to do that, or if they're sleepy and it's dark, they sometimes forget, and you will have overspills. And if you've got a carpet, obviously you don't want it soaking into the carpet because that would be smelly and not very nice. I have 6 more tips to give you now on starting potty training. These are all things that I have found absolutely invaluable and really important in helping us on our potty training journey to potty training successfully in just 1 week. The first tip to give you is to talk about it with your child in advance. This doesn't have to be a long time in advance because toddlers don't have brilliant memories when it comes to time frames, but talking about the fact that you are going to start potty training in a few days is really important, and almost having a countdown with your toddler. So in a few days, you are going to go to the toilet on your potty. You won't need your nappies anymore. Tomorrow, we're going to get rid of your nappies and you won't need them anymore. And then on the morning that you start the potty training, all you need to do is simply say to your child, you're a big boy now, or a big girl, you don't need to wear nappies anymore, so we're going to take them off now and we're not going to wear them ever again. From now on, you're going to go to the toilet on the potty or the toilet like a big boy or big girl. If you use nappies still at nap times and night times, and I will talk about that a little bit more in a while, then when they go down to sleep, you can just simply explain to them, we're putting on a nappy now because it's nap time or because it's night time, and that's because it's tricky to know when you need the toilet when you're asleep, but as soon as you wake up, we'll take it off and you won't wear it anymore again. The next tip I have for starting potty training is to make sure that you are watching your child really intently, especially on those first couple of days. So that means put your phone away, lock it in a cupboard, leave it in your bedroom. Don't look at your phone all day, because if your phone is there, you're likely to get distracted, and it only takes a second for your child to have an accident. You really need to be watching them with hawk eyes the whole day, and treat it as a really nice opportunity to play together and bond together and spend the whole day giving your child your undivided attention. This can be tricky when you have another child, especially if they are younger, and we did have our second son. He was born when we potty trained our first, so my husband actually took a good few days off work so that we were both there together doing the potty training, and that's another thing that I would definitely recommend if it's possible for you to do, to have another adult there so that one of you can watch the younger child and one of you can watch the potty training child, and then it's not quite so intensive for you as well. You can take it in turns. Of course, when you start potty training, you actually want them to go to the toilet, and it can be quite frustrating sometimes when you start and they just don't need the toilet and you don't have those opportunities then for teaching them how to go to the potty. So make sure that you give your child lots of extra drinks on the first couple of days when you start, so that they feel that urge to go to the toilet. With our son, it actually took a good hour or two for those drinks to process through him before he needed to go to the toilet. Some children will go then every so often and do little wees, and some children will go in one great big wee, which is what Finley did. Unfortunately, we didn't catch that first one and it did end up on the floor, but it didn't matter because we had success from there on out. My next tip would be to stay as calm as possible if your child has an accident or they say that they need the toilet. So try not to make a big deal out of it. Don't leap up, don't say, oh my goodness, and throw your arms in the air, because that's likely to startle them. You really want it to just be a normal, everyday thing that everybody in the family does. So just very calmly take them to the potty, take them upstairs. If they do have an accident, then just be really calm and matter of fact about it and simply say something like, okay, you've done a wee on the floor. Next time we're going to remember to do it in the potty. Don't worry, I will help you to remember. Something like that. Try to avoid saying something like, that's okay, because you don't want them to think that it is okay to wee on the floor, but also you don't want to make them feel guilty about doing so. So certainly don't be cross with them for having an accident. I'm going to give you my last tip now, and after that I will just briefly talk about the right age to start potty training with your child. So my last tip is to train them at night as soon as possible. This is something that a lot of people put off because it's a lot harder to do, to train your child to go through the night. But for us, we did put it off for a few weeks, and once we'd done it, everything was so much better, especially with regards to number twos. I will explain more about that in another video if you do want me to go in detail through everything that we did step by step. But safe to say, nighttime potty training is the best thing to do if you want to make sure that your potty training journey is as simple and quick as possible. And definitely next time we potty train with our next son, we will introduce the nighttime training a lot sooner. Sorry everyone, I've just moved you up because I realised my face was completely bright from the sun. So what I was saying was that you can be ready, or your child can be ready, anywhere from 18 months up to about 27 months plus. It really depends on your own child. The kind of ideal time frame is between 20 and about 25 months, but as I say, Finley was about 27, 28 months when we potty trained him, and to be honest, we didn't have any problems. I do feel like the older they are, it is slightly better in a way because they can communicate better with you and they can tell you what they want and what they need. So I would actually say that if your child can communicate with you in simple sentences and tell you that they need something, like that they're hungry or that they're tired or that they'd like a drink, then that's a really good sign that they will be able to also tell you that they need to go to the toilet or that they've had an accident. Other signs to look out for to check whether your child is ready is, do they go to a private place when they're going to the toilet in their nappy? Because often that signals that they're ready, especially if they're going to a private place to have a poo, like under the table or in the corner of the room or behind the sofa. That's often a really great signal that they are ready for potty training. Another great way to tell is if they want you to change their nappy as soon as they've done something and that they're uncomfortable, or even if they just talk to you about the fact that they've done a wee or a poo in their nappy. If you feel that your child is ready to start potty training, even if they are closer to that 18-month mark, then I would just say go for it. You've got nothing to lose. Try not to think about it as we'll start now and if it doesn't work we'll come back to it later. I have to say that was my attitude at first, but I quickly learned that no, the best way actually is just to persevere and push through with it. Toddlers are incredibly intelligent and receptive, and you know your toddler best, but they will probably be absolutely fine. I would recommend getting that book if you are interested, because it just goes through any kind of issues or problems that you may have with potty training and talks about them in a little bit more detail. So if you have a specific problem with your child, you can look it up in the book and find the answer. You are of course always free to comment below and I will answer any questions that you have, or send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram. Thank you very much for watching this video, everybody, and if you would like me to do that detailed day-to-day guide to potty training, talking about how we managed to potty train Finley in just 1 week and what we did each of those days, then I would be happy to do so. Make sure that you like this video if you did like it. It really does help my channel out a lot and it means so much to me. And if you are interested in mum life, toddler life, baby life, then make sure that you subscribe to my channel for new videos coming out every week. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I will see you all very soon. Goodbye.